He wants so badly to draw his armistice, but he also doesn't want to draw it. You place every box with the utmost delicacy and precision. He's practically itching to stick that thing in someone's face and pull the trigger. Maybe this would be a good wall for dodgeball. There's no way you'd catch that cigarette anyway. Yes, really. Don't even try. You'll just embarrass yourself. She's frantic, confused, teetering under all that gear. There's an opening if you just move fast enough. If not, the lieutenant's got her in his sights. Sure, you're you, but how do we end this? She's not just gonna let you leave. All right, here's the plan. You fling the chain cutters in her face, already darting right, and immediately close the distance. Left hand grabs the barrel, right one breaks the wrist. Oh, I see. Okay, the gun was empty. All is good. You're fine. No. They're really not. The gun wasn't even loaded. No shots fired. You're fine. All right. This is how we do it. You hurl the tear bag in her face, already darting right, and immediately close the distance. Left hand grabs the barrel, right one breaks the wrist. Okay, you need to figure out what to do with her now. All right, this is how we do it. You fling the pry bar at her, already darting right, and immediately close the distance. Left hand grabs the barrel, right one breaks the wrist. Here's the plan. Drop the multi-tool and immediately dart right. The noise will startle her, allowing you to close the distance. Left hand grabs the barrel, right one breaks the wrist. Here's the plan. You jerk left, dash right, close the distance and cut her hand off. Ready? Here's the plan. Shine the light straight in her eye and immediately dart right. The light will blind her, allowing you to close the distance. Left hand grabs the barrel, right one breaks the wrist. Porter reel is the key. Up the volume to the max and hit play. The sound will startle her, allowing you to close the distance. Left hand grabs the barrel, right one breaks the wrist. The gun. Throw it in her face. She won't see it coming. As she tries to catch or evade, you close the distance. Left hand grabs the barrel, right one breaks the wrist. All right, here's how we do it. As soon as that gun isn't pointed at you again, you dash right. Then immediately close the distance. Left hand grabs the barrel, right one breaks the wrist. All right, here's the plan. You hurl the ledger in her face, already darting right, and immediately close the distance. Left hand grabs the barrel, right one breaks the wrist. She's frantic, confused, teetering under all that gear. There's an opening if you just move fast enough. Fire off a shot over her head and use the moment of confusion to close the distance. Left hand grabs the barrel, right one breaks the wrist. This is dangerous. You're 70% certain you always leave your gun loaded. Sheath your sidearm, officer. A serious law official, cop by the book, should know to only unholster their service weapon when using it is unavoidable. This gun, Sunrise Parabellum, will be the only thing standing between you and the all-consuming nothingness that threatens to eat the world. Sheath it and wait, Herald. It won't be long now. A Villiers 9mm pistol, where Insulindian steel meets Revachol craftsmanship. With it thou wilt protect the fair people of thine homeland and keep the visitors at check. This is your gun. It's more of a symbol than anything else, because there is always a rational, sensible, reasonable solution to every situation. Sheath it and know you have the moral high ground. Holding the gun feels natural and satisfying. It's like an extension of your arm, the polished wooden handle almost fusing into your palm. This is your gun. Now if we could only find your personality, it reminds you of the day you first held it, with fear and respect, hoping you don't have to use it in vain. The sun was out in Jamrock. It was so long ago. This is your gun, and in the world of unarmed civilians, a man with a gun is king, but in a wholesome and life-affirming way. You just keep the wheels of the world spinning, and maybe there's some money to be made on the side. The gun, your gun, can be an item of destruction, but also creation. The Villiers-LaSalle art project. Time to shoot some beauty through the heart of Martinez. This is your gun, yours, and by extension, the people's, but mostly yours. Now go and serve the people. Although only useful against assailants made of flesh and blood, the gun is still yours. Maybe remote viewers also have some other non-conventional weaponry? At last, the fastest hand in Revachol reunited with the slickest tool in the north. You're gonna be the envy of the town, baby. The pig iron's yours, boss. You should blaze one right now to celebrate, and then shoot some cans or chickens or something. This is your gun. It's angry at you for losing it. Everyone is. The least you can do is press your lips against the cold steel to apologize, and then just try to go on living. His hands lead the way when it comes to that. And his shoulders. It's reflex, with a police pattern, like a crook or someone. Unstable is good, actually. She will be easier to disarm. No, wait. Actually, unstable is pretty bad. It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded. Oh fuck. It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded. Mr. Smooth moves. You snatch the dice out of the air with one hand, just like you're in a movie. She winked back at you. Can you believe it? You truly are Mr. Smooth Moves. She smiled at you. She smiled. You truly are Mr. Smooth Moves. You overthink it. Your hands can't agree what to do, and the 2 dice drop to the floor and scatter in opposite directions, like pearls from a broken string. The blue one disappears down the pit in the center of the room. An old Bell McGrave rifle, Revolutionary era, prized for its reliability more than its accuracy. The rest are probably Bell McGraves too, just too damaged to be identified. An old Bell McGrave rifle, Revolutionary era, prized for its reliability more than its accuracy. The rest are probably Bell McGraves too, just too damaged to be sure. You need to have the Kvalson KR2 multi-tool in your hand, detective. If you want to try again, then you need to have the pry bar in your hand, detective. The death blow is coming. That was not the death blow yet. You saved yourself. For now. Keep stumbling around and it will happen. The coin lands into your hand as if it has always belonged there. The swallow returns. The coin narrowly slips by your outstretched fingers and falls to the ground. There, on the ice. Target practice. It's a seagull. They're practically immortal. And the only thing you'll be throwing is some dirt. It's guaranteed no one will get hurt. Target practice for improving your aim. Some of us have been wondering when you'll get around to that. Told you we need to practice. What if this was a combat situation? We wouldn't be talking anymore. Try again. Precisely. No obstructions. Just the seagull. Pick up some dirt and throw it at the bird. Come on. Hurry up. Oh no. Better. But practice makes perfect. One more time. Right into the sea-bull's eye. It's extra ammunition. She's locked and loaded, ready to fight some cops. Your hand trembles as you scratch your cheek. Oh no, that's not how a grown man shaves. They feel so smooth, surprisingly so. A feeling of freshness overcomes you, as if you just came from a cold bath. Stop, for crying out loud. You're gonna cut your own throat. Your hand refuses to move another millimeter. A small trickle of blood runs down your cheek. The razor lands with a clang. A red trickle begins to spread in the water. Beneath the doubt sprouts a new vigor, like you've discarded some bad decisions. It feels as though you've passed through a ritual, emerged from cold water, even. The sharp blade chafes against your skin, producing a scratching sound. The surface underneath the beard feels tender, the air brushing against it, chilly. The sharp blade chafes against your skin, producing a scratching sound. The surface underneath the beard feels tender, the air brushing against it, chilly. Your hand shakes so hard you can't even muster up the courage to try. Maybe you're just too wild at heart. Thank God, I would have cut your throat. Like an artist with a brush or a master swordsman, you used a small mirror and a straight razor with some soap to remove all that unkempt hair from below the nose line. Your hand moves, smooth and lightning fast, to the holster. You whip out the gun. You grab hold of the grip and pull hard, but it won't budge. The gun is caught on a seam inside your jacket. Nope, it's stuck in there good. You're only making things worse. The jacket is going to rip if you continue. Sorry, Boyadero. The moment has passed. You just won't look cool anymore. You can't remember what happened last week. What makes you think you're going to remember arcane firearm models? Antiques enthusiasts? Guerrilla fighters in distant countries? A few lucky jamrock bangers? You're looking for a well-preserved antique, most likely. A rifle, Revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46 millimeter from the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably an antique or a retrofitted antique. The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. The BM dominated the battlefields of the Insulindian theater of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago. Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers, you're looking for the same thing you found in that hidden weapons cache, only in working order. No, but Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war, so there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling. Incidentally, you have just such a rifle with you, the dusty old thing you found hidden in the basement below the commercial area. It's unusable, sadly. If it were, the bullet would probably fit the chamber. The writer has never held a sword in their life, let alone two two-handed swords at the same time. No wonder the communards couldn't shoot straight. They were too shagged out. It's me. I'm keeping his hand from moving. We're not doing that anymore. We're not reading those words. People have died. He needs to work, not ache his heart for something that will never return. Always aim for the center of mass. Feisty little thing. But don't worry, it's under control. Chalk powder. Absorbs moisture and keeps your grip firm. Chalk powder. Absorbs moisture and keeps your grip firm. There's a word at the tip of your tongue. A name. Egret. Don't ask us what it means. We're not sure. Chalk powder. Absorbs moisture and keeps your grip firm. Chalk powder. Absorbs moisture and keeps your grip firm. Nearly the same sound produced by the action on a good breech loader. You can't fail to notice. This splash was obviously made with a clumsy hand. Perhaps it adds to the artistry. A pilgrimage you can make with just your hand. Sure is. Come on, beauty is inviting you on a pilgrimage. A pilgrimage you can make with just your hand. Rooty tooty, pointy shooty. It certainly does not help with aiming. We can do it, brother. You have it in the nerve endings in your hand. You just need to dig into your muscle memory. Doesn't that tingle in your index finger give it away? As you look at them, you feel your index finger reflexively contract 3 times. A memory, an echo in the recesses of your amygdala, and something you'll do again before this is all over. You know the answer already. The tingle in your index finger gave it away. This is such a wipeout. 3 mercenaries, no doubt armed to the teeth, hungry for vengeance. You've only got muzzle loaders. This isn't looking good. If she kills herself, you'll get her gun. This does look like an embrasure, a slit made for shooting out of. The angle of the paint drops reveals that they were fired at the canvas with the force of a hand cannon. If you were to prick him with something sharp, you could see it oozing out. A knife, maybe? No, a rapier. The muzzle loaders need to be reloaded after every 1, 2, or in your case, 3 shots. The automatics every 1 or 2 minutes. The muzzle loaders need to be reloaded after every 1 or 2 shots. The automatics every 1 or 2 Minutes, with a crash of shattering glass and a terrible roar. The fire draws in oxygen. The bomb hits the mercenary in the chest, swallowing him in flames as he staggers backward. You really, really should have a gun in your hand by now. Or something dangerous. This feels scary. No, it's off. Way off. I told you. Shoot him in the mouth. Shoot him before he shoots you. This time feels different. You aim higher, as if pulled by a magnet. Your hand goes numb from the explosion, and a plume of smoke erupts from the gun. Another soft explosion, like a firecracker, goes off in your hand. Another soft click from the gleaming white cuirass. This third one, he is the most dangerous of them all. Heavily armed. You throw the bomb and it's way off. A plume of smoke and fire erupts from the gun, and your hand goes numb from the explosion. A small explosion expels the bullet from the chamber. With a puff of smoke, it hits the man square in the chest, producing a soft clicking sound in the armor. This third one, he is the most dangerous of them all. Heavily armed. 0.6 seconds remain. There are 6 little black dots in the tip of the thick barrel, like a honeycomb. This is a knock cannon. It shoots 6 rounds in one pull of the trigger. 0.4 seconds remain. There are 6 little black dots in the tip of the barrel, like a honeycomb. This is a knock cannon. It shoots 6 rounds in one pull of the trigger. An unbelievable shot from the lieutenant. The smoke drifts west with the wind. You hear the plaza erupt in violence, slow, like a waterfall in reverse. Already your muscles are adjusting to the weight, the nervous system calibrating, until you and the ball have merged into a single entity. The man ball is ready, an embodiment of pure motion, a fine-tuned locomotor running at maximum efficiency. A chilly breeze ruffles your hair as you stand there, feet firmly planted. All sounds, smells, even the wind, everything fades until the only thing left is the union of man and ball. You are immediately surprised by the ball's lack of weight. No matter, you'll make it work. This felt wrong. Wrong like touching your sister's breast. You threw your sister's breast. Your muscle memory knew what to do and went for it. But there were gaps. It felt like you were going for a thrust or a lunge. There was definitely gonna be jumping. Maybe you scored a point, but this is a fiasco. The cold metal ball is surprisingly smooth against your neck. It has a pattern on it, probably a sponsored ball. Yours would only be covered with bumps of learning and scars of victory. His moves are quick and precise as he first checks the weapon, then aims it at the sea. This man knows firearms intimately, an extremely inadvisable strategy against automatic weapons. Be sure not to make the same mistake. For God's sake, find some bullets before you go any further. An unloaded gun won't do you any good. For God's sake, find some bullets before you go any further. An unloaded gun won't do you any good. For God's sake, find some bullets before you go any further. An unloaded gun won't do you any good. What you have isn't enough. You'll need more firepower, a ranged weapon. You are prepared. Don't put away your friend, your weapon. You are prepared. Don't put away your friend, your weapon. If only he had the ammunition. Click, click, click. The gun. The murder weapon is the perfect opener. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Oh no, you were wrong. Don't listen to your hands, for God's sake. You're too close. The caliber of bullet he used does not do that kind of damage. Cheek against the cheek rest. Hand on the hair trigger. On a calm day like this. Cheek against the cheek rest. Hand on the hair trigger. On a calm day like this. It has stayed true to him. He can still make it sing. Still warm from his parched hands. Not the metal. The metal is ice cold. This weapon has been modified several times. It has stayed true to him. He can still make it sing. Harry, this reminds you, you're out of bullets. Technically, The other man has the biggest gun. But we're beyond that now. Not true. He purposefully over-aimed and shot the window. You had him second-guessing himself, only for a second. Do not assume he will miss the next time. A Kiel Model 40 revolver, 8 rounds in the barrel. The gun slowly sways in his hand from the inebriation. A Kiel Model 40 revolver, 8 rounds in the barrel. The gun slowly sways in his hand from the inebriation. He could definitely work more on his hand-eye coordination. He can't even walk straight. How did he write your name in cathode rays? My favorite is the gun. My favorite is the gun he lost. My favorite was the gun he lost. My favorite is the gun. Factory balanced. Bakelite and stainless steel. But not when you're in a tight spot. He means murder weapon. Slam the weapon, man. The murder weapon. God, even this javelin throwing freak here. Not today, Badge. You got it all right. You're showing it to him. Victorious. They're seeing the badge. Your hand twitches. A single bullet hidden from sight. Remember the way it slides into the barrel. The muzzle of the loaded weapon pointed at your heart. It feels familiar, doesn't it? Then we'll be ready for them. Your fingers trace the edges of an imaginary holster on your hip. A slight twitch runs through your index finger. So that's 1 dead and a long reload. But whatever. We were sort of hoping there would be a gun, an expensive jewel, or at least a sword in it for you if you deliver the message. Oh well. Your fingers wrap around the handle. The index slides into the trigger loop. Do it. Go on. That's an Easter 50. A Ziemsk-made monstrosity. It'll blow your head clean off. A door gun is a gun mounted to the door of a transport airship. They have a habit of mowing down civilians. Farmers mostly. Unless it was an exceptional, almost godly sniper. Ah, yes, of course. Good catch. Go ahead. Firearm. A Glass 08 or a 38 caliber pistol. Either is small enough for you to have missed. Kid would make a half-decent sharpshooter, no? It probably is. Fucking Butterfingers. He sounds a tiny bit sorry he did not find it before you got hit. He says he's not, but his hand moves instinctively toward his holster as he studies the note. Why not? Military fortifications are made for that kind of thing. Another hit. The lieutenant looks at you in acknowledgement. A direct hit. The lieutenant looks at you in acknowledgement. In honor of another precise forensic observation. In honor of that precise forensic remark, officer. A real hit. This is clearly a sport for him. Something like archery or darts. A miss. This is clearly sports for him. Something like archery or darts. Probably for the best. Your 9mm semi-automatic finger pistols are not a toy to be waved around. Your 9mm semi-automatic finger pistols make 2 satisfying snaps. Strange for such a small caliber of finger pistol to sound so chunky. The flower in your hand is impressed. So is she. Your 9mm semi-automatic finger pistols produce a satisfying snap. Strange for such a low-caliber finger gun to sound so chunky. The flower in your other hand is impressed. So is Kim. Just as you look at the flowers, a gust of wind raises them from the roof, picking them up in the air. The wind brushes them off the roof. They're gone. You catch a single white flower between your fingers. The rest fly off into the wind. It's a Maybell. You're so close. Almost there. Ultimate dexterity is within reach. You're so close. Almost there. Ultimate dexterity is within reach. You know how you'd be best off here? With a gun. I'd be the star of the show if you only had a working gun. You know how you'd be best off here? With a gun. Best have it in your hand when you go in there. Nip it in the bud before it gets completely out of hand. Right on his cheek. Just a light tap. To scare him a little. Don't kill him. Nip it in the bud before it gets completely out of hand. Right on his cheek. Just a light tap. to scare him a little. It won't kill him. The kid moves his hands like a basketball player dribbling fast. This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it. It came out wrong. You made it sound like you're some sort of roulette addict looking for a fix. Ask again. More controlled this time. Feels like shit, man. How did this happen? Hit him straight in the chest. How horrible. You're so sorry. You hear an explosion within the weapon in your hands. The branches of the pine tree behind the girl shake ever so lightly. Your ears are still ringing. The sound of the explosion from your gun echoes all over Martinez. The bullet found its way to the heart of a kid. A plume of smoke erupts from the barrel. Your hand goes numb from the explosion. With your ears still ringing, you lower the weapon to see what happened. The buckle explodes into tiny pieces, coming loose with a whir. You know, you don't feel like too bad of a shot yourself. A lot of things were wrong with that shot. The Phalostes was the wrong choice. His shoulders were raised, but above all, he cannot trust his eyesight. Ask for another shot. You'll get it with the next one. The goddamn light reflected off some window. Surely,